Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm here to share with you a full face tutorial featuring CoverGirl products. And I'm sure you have seen a ton of CoverGirl videos lately because of the huge PR packages they sent out. And yes, I got one too.
What does my face tell you? That I'll run this company someday. My face can be bold.
This thing is huge. But hopefully you're not too tired of seeing CoverGirl and will at least find this video helpful, as I will be giving you my thoughts and reviews on each item I use too. Now, I've got some things to say about these products. While I actually really like the way this look turned out, I will say that I wasn't super impressed with a lot of these products, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm starting off first with my brows using the Microfine Brow Pencil in the shade Soft Brown. This is a $7 to $8 pencil depending on where you buy, and there are 4 shades. I will say right away, I don't love this pencil. I originally wasn't going to do my brows in this video, but I figured I have the product, I could at least do a demo and review on it. Now, it's not that this is a bad brow product, it's just more of a personal preference. I don't prefer micro pencils for my brows. However, that being said, there are other micro pencils I've tried and have surprisingly loved. This one just wasn't doing it for me. It is great that it includes a spoolie, so I do like that, but as for the pencil itself, it's just okay. It's not terrible, but to me it's nothing special either. Next up is the Lid Lockup Eyeshadow Primer. Again, this is another $7 to $8 product depending on where you buy. I will say that I haven't really been into using eyeshadow primers lately because I just prefer to use concealer, but even still, I do think this primer is nice. Its formula reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay Primer Potion, so if you like that one, I think you'll like this and the price much better. This does claim to give you all-day crease-proof eyeshadow security, which is something I can't really test because I never really get creasing, but I have heard others say that it is crease-proof. So, additionally, it claims to maximize the wear and intensity of your shadows, which is something that most all primers do in my experience, so yeah. Speaking of shadows, I will be using both of the Katy Cat eyeshadow palettes today, which I guess were limited edition and I can't even seem to find available for purchase online anymore. So seems I dropped the ball on my review timing, but if you can still find them available in store, this may be helpful. Just a heads up, I do think they are good, but definitely not worth getting FOMO over if you didn't get them. Anyways, I'm starting out with the Hot Cat palette using the light matte brown shade in my crease, and at first it started going on a little choppy and skipping on my eyes. That hadn't happened to me before, so I just switched to a different brush and it ended up being fine. I do think the matte shades are pretty great. They are very pigmented, a nice soft creamy formula that for the most part is really easy to blend and work with. Next, you'll see me taking a clean and fluffy blending brush just to further blend and diffuse that shade out. Then I'm going into the darker brown matte shade, and I'll be bringing that to the inner and outer corner of my eyes as I'm going to do a halo eye look. And now, because neither of these palettes have a matte highlight shade, I'm just going to be using the Vitalist Healthy Setting Powder in the shade Classic Ivory. I'll talk more about this setting powder later in the video. Moving on, I knew I'd be going into the Cool Cat palette, which is all sparkly shimmers, and I wanted some extra insurance and stickiness since these shadows have major fallout issues. So I laid down more of that lid lock primer to the center of my lids, and I used a flat brush to blend it in as well as get some of that primer onto the brush to help hold the shadow. Now, the Cool Cat palette is really pretty, but if I had to choose, I definitely like the Hot Cat palette best since it does have a mixture of matte and shimmers. If you just want a fun palette of just shimmers, the Cool Cat one would be a great option. I do feel like the shimmers are slightly reminiscent of the Urban Decay Moon Dust shadows with the shimmer effect they give. The difference is that these have a lot more fallout, like throughout the day even, and they are not as pigmented. They definitely need to be built up. As you can see, I went into that golden shadow, which is a neat color. It seems to have a slight green shift to it, which is really pretty. I went in first with a brush so you can see how it applies that way, but honestly, it just wasn't giving me the pigmentation I was hoping for. I know on this video it's hard to tell, but in person it was very sheer. So I ended up using my finger, which I actually really hate to do. And even still, it wasn't as pigmented as I would have liked. I definitely recommend a glitter adhesive for these. Next, I just did a little blending cleanup with that dark matte brown shade. Moving on to eyeliner, I used the Get In Line liquid liner in the shade Black Vinyl, I think, because CoverGirl doesn't like to put names on their products, which I found super annoying, by the way. But anyways, I actually really like this liner a lot. The best thing about it is how ultra fine the tip is, which gives you great precision and thin lines, which I appreciate. So you can always build up the thickness of your liner rather than going in with a thick liner right away. So I love that. It's got great pigmentation too, but they do need to be shaken up before you use. Now this does come in 5 shades, however 3 of them are just different types of black, and the other 2 are a brown and then randomly a teal shade. And this ranges from $8 to $9 depending on where you buy. Moving on quickly, I am just going back into the Warm Cap palette for my lower lash line using the dark brown shade to line and then smoking it out with a lighter brown shade. I will come back to finish up my eyes later, but for now I'm going to be moving on to the face, starting with the Vitalist Go Glow Luminizing Lotion in the shade Daybreak. There's only one other shade in this and it's a $9 product. And I'm not really impressed by this. I like that it's a lightweight and absorbed quickly, and it's cool that it has vitamins in it and stuff, but it didn't seem to really do anything for me. There is a subtle hint of luminosity that is really pretty, but I mean, once foundation goes on, you don't even see that anymore, so it's just kind of like a meh product to me. Maybe if you wore it on its own, then it would be good, but I don't know. Moving on to foundation, the original PR package did not include a foundation, so I actually went out and purchased this one for the sake of this video. Little did I know I would be receiving 40 foundations just a couple weeks later. Speaking of that, I do have a video on the new foundation coming up soon. I've got some thoughts on that one to share, but today let's discuss the Vitalist Healthy Elixir. I love it. Honestly, it was love at first try. I love the coverage, the wear, and the feel of it. It's since become my go-to foundation. And I even gave it an honorable mention in my top 5 foundations video. You can check that out if you'd like to hear me talk more about what I think of this foundation. Next up is concealer. This is the Vitalist Healthy Concealer. It's $9 to $11 depending on where you buy it. It comes in 6 shades, and I think I am using the shade Light Medium, but I can't recall for sure because, again, there is no shade name or even a number on this, and I'm so frustrated that CoverGirl didn't put names on most of these products. Anywho, this concealer is another product that is just okay to me. I honestly don't think it's terrible. It's lightweight, which I love, but the coverage is pretty sheer. I have to really pack it on to get the kind of coverage that I personally prefer. I think it will be great for days that I want a more like natural look, natural coverage, but at $11, that's like halfway to Shape Tape concealer, and I'd rather save up and just get that, which I know will last me a long time and conceal my dark circles, rather than buying this, which I've already almost used up. Going back to the Vitalist Healthy Setting Powder, this comes in 4 shades and ranges from $9 to $12. I think this is a good powder. It's very soft and finely milled. It does have a touch of creaminess to it, so I would recommend using a light hand or a duo fiber brush when applying it like I did. Otherwise, it can end up feeling cakey. Overall, I like it, but not as much as the Multitasker powder from Milani Cosmetics, which is my favorite powder from the drugstore. Moving on to the Look Lock-Up Makeup Setting Spray. This is a nice setting spray. I feel it does its job, but I really don't care for the way it sprays out. It's not terrible, but there are definitely better ones from the drugstore, like the Milani Make It Last setting spray, any of the Pixi Beauty sprays, the one from Wet n Wild, and even the e.l.f. one I would probably recommend first. This spray is $12. Next up, I have some products that are not CoverGirl. I honestly didn't think about having these products until I sat down to film this, and I was like, oh, I don't have a bronzer and blush from CoverGirl. So I do apologize for that, but I decided just to throw this footage in just in case anyone was curious what products I used. Lately, I've been loving this Bye Bye Pores bronzer from IT Cosmetics, and I also really enjoy this blush from Pretty Vulgar. It came in a recent BoxyCharm box, and I've been reaching for it a lot lately. As per usual, I finish off with another spritz of setting spray before moving on to highlight and other things. Oh, and I also included brow gel. This is another fave from IT Cosmetics. And then I moved on to mascara. Usually I do mascara after highlight, but since I was going to use a cream highlight, I guess I kind of switched up my game here. So this is the Peacock Flare Mascara. It comes in 5 shades of black. No, I'm not kidding about that. Anyways, it is an $8 to almost $11, and I will tell you right now, it is not even worth $1. This mascara is an absolute no for me. It does have this funky wand, which actually doesn't bother me. I am typically intrigued by different wand designs and styles, and usually I have no issues with that. But this mascara did literally nothing for me. The claims are that you'll get full-on length, definition, and volume, but nope, nope, nope. I mean, I guess it did darken my lashes, but that's about it. I did try to use this a couple more times, but just no, it's worthless. I will say that it may be possible that the waterproof formula is better. I don't like waterproof mascaras, so I gave that one to my daughter. She likes waterproof mascaras, and it made her lashes look amazing. I was like, whoa, is that the Peacock mascara I gave you? And she was like, yep. So either mine was a dud, or maybe the waterproof one is just a little bit better. Anyways, for highlight, I use the Vitalist Healthy Glow highlighter, and again, I'm not sure the shade because again, there is no name. Like, this blows my mind. On the CoverGirl website, there are 2 that it looks like it might be, so it's either Starshine or Moonbeam, but the number on this container is number 2, so that might help you find it. Anyways, there are 6 shades, and this costs $9 to $11. This is a pretty interesting product. It's got a creamy, like jello-like consistency. And it looks really pretty once it's applied, but it's not something that I'm used to working with. You're gonna see me apply it first with my fingers, and while I think it looked really pretty, I just found that it didn't blend very well, so it almost looked like this stripe on my cheek. I did end up grabbing my finger sponge to try to blend and diffuse out the edges, and that worked a little bit better, but it still looked just a little bit choppy in my opinion. Last, I did use it with a brush to add a pop of highlight to the inner corner of my eyes, and that actually worked really well, and I think it turned out really pretty. Even still, I just don't imagine this is a product I will want to keep reaching for. It's just not my thing. I don't think it's a bad product, it's just, I don't know, I don't imagine I'll keep using this. Lastly, for the lips, I pulled out 3 shades that I thought might work. 2 were from the Queen Major Shade Collection. The first one is Rebel, the second one is Insider, but I ended up choosing the last shade, which was the Melting Pout Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Secret. There are 12 shades in this collection, and they cost $7. Now this claims to add high impact, super rich color with a matte finish to your lips, but as you can see, it goes on a little uneven and almost sheer. Like, seriously, where's the high impact color? You can tell that initially I wasn't impressed when I was applying it. However, it ended up layering and building up beautifully, and best of all, it was so lightweight and comfortable to wear. As I wore it throughout the day, I actually forgot I even had lipstick on, which I love that. So it also does fully dry down and is transfer proof. So this lipstick is actually a win for me personally. And that's it, beauties. I know this was a long video. If you stuck through, thank you so much. I do hope you found it helpful, informative, as well as enjoyable. I know it seems there were a lot of duds or just okay products in this line in my opinion, but that doesn't mean they're terrible. Most are just, you know, not my personal preference. And you may really love or enjoy these products. So if you have a different opinion from mine, I would love to hear why you like the products and how they work best for you. Not only is it interesting for me to hear other people's perspective and opinions on products, but it's also really helpful for anyone else who might be watching or this video or reading the comments. So definitely don't be shy and share your thoughts with everyone here. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah! Okay, now I'm gonna go back into this one and then this one. This is shade 325. This is the CoverGirl Melting Pout in the shade Secret.
But let me tell you something about those. Muggy and Rose one. Those are the colors right there. So what I did for my eye look today was I used this one as my main base, and I used it to set my primer, and then I used body, so you should take care of it, and I think it'd be kind of fun. Yourself, you guys let me know. Like,
Oh, what's with the lighting?
I remember on my prom, I was like, you know what, it's my day, it's my prom day.
This is the shade. You don't want the shade. Why don't you want the shade?